You can get to it by www.desmos.com/calculator. And you can sign in with your Google account so you can actually save graphs that you make on this. It's a nice utility for visualizing different functions. It has this box over here that when you click on it, it'll bring up a keyboard for doing different things. You don't always need the keyboard, so I hide it by clicking the arrow, show keypad, hide keypad. It has a nice graphing area. And so you can take the equation, and I think we had in the last example y equals negative 2/3. And so you use 2/3. Now the slash is the key by the question mark on your keyboard, down by the shift key. It will do the fraction automatically for you. So it was y equals negative 2/3 x minus 5. And so that was the equation we graphed at the end of the last video. And here, as I type it in, it draws it on the screen. And so I can check, well, I have a negative slope, and I have an intercept at negative 5. And if I highlight that point by pointing at it, it'll tell me what the value is. And so this shows me what the y-intercept was. If you're doing multiple graphs, you can turn them on and off here. If you click in the blank space here, you can get another line, and we'll see there's some importance as we do lines to find different values of where two lines might intersect or what two lines do together. What I want you to notice is that if I have 2x plus 3y equals negative 5, not negative 5, negative 15. I'll turn this line off and on. See how I'm turning it off and on by clicking it? It's the same thing as the line here. But we don't see in the blue version the information where we can graph it. That's the power of the slope-intercept format. The slope tells me negative, it's going down, and the intercept, the negative 5, tells me exactly where it crosses the y-axis over here. And so by writing in slope-intercept format, you'll get used to starting to figure out what the line's doing. And so you'll have an idea, well, if x is 50, it's going to be somewhat lower than when x is 10, or when x is 0, because of the negative slope. And you will get a feel for what your variables are doing. But your variables represent things in the real world. And that's part of what we want to do with algebra here. Algebra is the language of quantity. This is what the quantity is doing underneath it. So when we go back and forth with the language of quantity, in your head you might want to start trying to see pictures. And so using graphing calculators or drawing them and getting used to seeing them helps. And this format, in red here, the y equals negative 2/3 x minus 5, gives you the tools that you can start building that in your head quickly. Negative 2/3 is the slope. Negative means it starts high on the left, goes down on the right. For every 2 it goes down, it goes over 3. So let's see, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yep, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yep, points out fine. And negative 5 is the y-intercept. It tells you where it intercepts the y-axis. Now this is a general form of the equation, the 2x plus 3y equals negative 15. Now if we solve this for y, you get the same thing. And this is something you'll get used to. You will find for most of your career working with numbers that you use what we call that functional form. The y equals something. You have one variable on the left-hand side. You have the rest of the expressions on the right-hand side. And we will deal with more functional forms. You'll see me use Desmos calculator on and off to graph more complex functions.